The DePuy ASR hip replacement system, a metal-on-metal hip replacement, was touted as the perfect hip replacement for younger, active patients. It was supposed to last longer and provide greater mobility than other hip replacement systems. Unfortunately, as ASR hip recipients quickly found out, these hips were failing at significantly greater rates than other hip replacement products. Within a few short years of their initial implant, ASR recipients found themselves back in the hospital, forced to undergo another painful surgery, this one to replace the failed ASR product. Finally, unable to ignore the mounting data, DePuy and its parent company, Johnson & Johnson, recalled the DePuy ASR hip replacement system in August 2010. What went wrong, and how was this defective hip replacement brought to market in the first place? It all began in August 2005 when DePuy Orthopedics, a subsidiary of J&J, used a loophole in the FDA regulatory process to obtain approval for its ASR hip implants without conducting clinical trials. 2 years later, in August 2007, the National Joint Replacement Registry of the Australian Orthopaedic Association issued its first report to Johnson & Johnson and DePuy, identifying problems with the ASR hip implants. Faced with mounting evidence of the flaws with the ASR hip replacement system, in December 2009, J&J and DePuy issued a voluntary recall of the ASR hip implants in Australia. Less than a year later, in March 2010, J&J and DePuy finally acknowledged that the ASR hip implant system had excessively high failure rates and sent an urgent field safety notice to doctors warning them of this important information. A few months later, by the summer of 2010, J&J and DePuy received additional data from the National Joint Registry of England and Wales, this time showing that 1 out of every 8 patients, that's 12 to 13% of patients who received the ASR hip implants, had to undergo revision surgery within 5 years of implant. In response to this information, finally, on August 24, 2010, J&J and DePuy issued a voluntary worldwide recall of the ASR hip implant systems. The company sent letters to surgeons worldwide asking them to notify their patients of the recall. What has happened since the DePuy ASR recall? Information continues to come to light concerning the problems associated with the DePuy ASR hip replacement system. From January 2011 through August 2011, the FDA received over 5,000 complaints about metal-on-metal hip implants. 75% of these complaints involved the recalled ASR hip implants. In March 2011, the British Orthopaedic Association, in conjunction with the British Hip Society, published the results of a study concluding that the DePuy ASR XL hip replacements have a 49% failure rate after 6 years. This means that about half of the individuals who received a DePuy ASR XL hip replacement are likely to need revision surgery within 6 years of the implant date. Today, J&J and DePuy are currently defending thousands of lawsuits nationwide filed by individuals who were injured by the defective ASR hip implants. If you have or had an ASR hip replacement system, call us today for a free and confidential consultation about your legal rights.